sun produce heat? In grade 2, when you are learning about light, your teacher told you that sun is a natural source of light. It doesn't need to be prepared. It is a source of light on its own. When it also in heat, we are going to look at sun as that explains why when the sun is out, your teacher is going to tell you to remove your sweaters. Why? Because you no longer need warmth from your sweaters. Why? The sun is from the sun is enough to make sure. That is why we are going to look at sun as a natural source of heat. Our next one, we have electricity. Electricity too is a source of heat. So how is electricity a source of heat? Someone. Let's look at the kitchen that our beautiful mothers do prepare our foods for us, or our house helps. I want to believe some of us have got something called gas cookers. And there are others who have electric cookers, or those gas cookers still have pliers where we connect to the socket. So by the help of this electricity, the cookers that our mothers used to cook for food for us is able to produce fire. That is why we are saying electricity is a source of heat. If you allow me, with me here I have this. What is this? Yes, I know it's Parsi, but now we use English. This is an iron box. An iron box. We use article an because iron starts with a what? With a vowel sound. We learn English in environmental, all right? Yeah, so we say an iron box. What is the use of this iron box? Someone? Yes. The use of this iron box is to do what? To iron clothes, to make them straight. But for it to work, you have to take this, connect it to the socket, and switch it on. What happens from there? The iron box becomes hot. Don't connect it and try to touch to feel whether it is hot or not. You might end up getting burnt. But the iron box becomes hot, and it is out of that hotness we are able to iron and press our clothes so that we look smart. It's very important that you look spin and span. So it is through this electricity that our electric iron box is going to work. That is why we are going to look at electricity source of heat. My source of heat number 3 is kerosene. What is kerosene? I understand most of you are digital kids, eh? You are like, what is kerosene? So kerosene, we have some people who use stoves. I don't know whether you've seen a stove somewhere. I don't know whether in your home you have stove. But with me here, I have an image of a stove that I carried with me. I don't know whether you'll be in a position to see it. But this is my print. This is a print of a stove. This is a stove. So for our stove to produce the fire that will give us the heat we are looking at, we are going to use kerosene. So the stove we are having with us there, you can see, you have seen that, is going to work only when you've put kerosene. Are we together? So that flame is produced, and that flame is using kerosene. There we get the heat about. So of heat. Our point is charcoal. How is charcoal source of heat? Or what is charcoal, if we may ask? some black things. Can you see them? Someone? This is what we call charcoal. Makaa, hiyo makaa sasa. And how is makaa source of heat? So when you have this charcoal, what you are going to do, and it can dirtify you, yeah, it can dirtify you, but at the end of the day is a source of heat that is very useful in our environment. So we use this charcoal, we burn the charcoal. Of course, you must have a lighter. The only place you don't need a lighter is in sun and in electricity. In charcoal, you use charcoal, also you burn it, you use a lighter to burn it. And I'm sure someone is asking, where does this black stuff come from? Where do this black stuff come from? So this charcoal are burnt pieces of woods. Call them pieces of trees, yeah, all trees themselves. So for you to get the charcoal, you burn the wood, you burn the trees. You burn them in a special manner that you wouldn't end up burning the whole tree. No, it is done in a special manner. And I believe in our next lesson, we should have a project on how to make charcoal. But you should know burning charcoal in Kenya, it is not something that is being promoted, because for you to burn charcoal, you'll have to cut down a tree. And you know, our president's project is planting trees. That has reminded me, last Saturday, was it 11th? Yes, we were told to plant trees. That was a directive order from the president, and we were given a holiday. How many trees did you plant? Because if you need a source of heat and you need charcoal, you must need a tree. And if you need a tree, you must cut down one. Now, how many trees have you planted for you to cut down one? Someone, how many trees? Did you plant any trees? Did you plant? I hope you did. So that is charcoal as a source of heat. We are now going to look at firewood. Firewood, what is firewood? Someone, what is firewood? Yes, firewood, I want to believe there is someone back at home saying, kuni. Yes, firewood is also a source of heat. And with me here, I also have a poster of firewood. And I want to believe we are all conversant with that term, and we've seen them somewhere, some places from now and then. So how does this firewood produce fire? Of course, for it to produce fire, it must be dry. Then when it is dry, you are now in a position to light it. And then after lighting it, it burns up. Yes, from our screen there, you've seen firewood burning. And again, firewood comes from trees. We are back to trees. Now, if in our sources of heat, we have charcoal and firewood that we get from trees, that means we are still cutting down trees. And back to my question. Are you being an ambassador of the president's project of planting trees? It is very important to plant trees, because so far so good we've seen charcoal is needing firewood. Charcoal is needing trees. Firewood is needing trees. And if I mentioned also in electricity, poles, the ones that connect the lines. So we have something like this. These are, and then we have the lines here. These are the lines. Oh, I don't know how to draw properly, but these are the lines. In cases again, you find that we are still using these as from tree trunks. So again, on trees, poles. That is a deviation of content, but it is very important because it is from the tree. We are going to get charcoal and firewood. Are we together? So our next source of heat, and the last one, is gas. And someone is asking, gas, what is gas? I know you have gas cookers at home, or maybe you don't call them gas cookers. Mezoea kusema gas imeisha. Yes, we have some of these gases. Some of us use gas cookers, the Meko gas, whatever you use at home. And these gases, they help us also in cooking. Yeah, so we have cans where there is gas inside, and when you open, the gas gets out. Then you use your lighter, you light it, and then from there, from our image, you can see a gas that is burning. You use a lighter and you burn the gas. Then the gas starts producing fire, and in turn, fire gives you the heat that you want. Are we together? Yes. You can see there the gas is burning, and out of the flame that is from our image, someone there is busy cooking. I hope you won't salivate because you've seen something is cooking somewhere. I want to believe you've just taken your breakfast. So don't start complaining. I am hungry. I've seen food. So gas too is our source of heat. But now, if I were to explain something further on gas, we are trying to divert, to take a different direction, to see if we can get other sources of energy, that is heat from environment, without doing much damage to our environment. Because at the end of the day, environment is the element that supports a human life. Are we together? Your surrounding is what supports you to be where you are. What do I mean? Instead of dwelling with electricity too much, instead of dwelling with kerosene, charcoal, firewood, we have other things that we can use instead of throwing them away or treating them as dirt, to use them as source of heat. Now, this is my assignment number 1. By the help of your guardian, I want you to get online and research on biogas. You look at what biogas is and the importance of biogas. If you understand, you should be in a position to write an article on importance of biogas and present it to your class on Monday. And look at the way, if we were to use biogas instead of using these other sources of heat, if we will save the environment. But before we get to there, we use what we have right now. So my homework is, by the help of your guardian, get online, research on what biogas is. Are we together? Yes. So on the sources of heat, we have said that heat is a form of energy. Yes, and we've also mentioned that it makes things hot. And from there, our key inquiry question was, what things that make other things hot? Are we together? Yes, and from there, you should be in a position to name these things. We've said we have what? We have sun, we have kerosene, we have charcoal, we have firewood, and we have gas. These are our sources of heat. Now the question is, which source of heat are you well conversant with, or which source of heat do you use at home, and why? Can we use sun to cook? I mean, sun is a source of heat, so it makes things hot, so can it cook? No. All right. Can we use electricity to cook? Definitely yes. We have said that electricity, we have the electric cookers that we connect to electricity. So this one is a wide range and it helps us to do some other things. What about kerosene? We've said for you to use stove. You can't put kerosene in a gas. No, you can't put kerosene in a gas cylinder. Then we have charcoal. Where do you use charcoal, or what do you use charcoal with? This is the charcoal I'm talking about. What do you use charcoal with? You can't use charcoal with stove which uses kerosene. What do you use charcoal with? We use charcoal with jiko. We use charcoal with jiko. So how does a jiko look like? Again, I hope you are noting down my assignment. By the help of your guardian, draw and color a jiko. And in that jiko alongside, you draw a jiko and then you write the word. That jiko uses charcoal as a source of heat. Also, you are expected to draw a stove here, and then you match your stove with the source of heat it uses. That is the kerosene. I've had. How many of you use cocoa? Or what is cocoa? Those of you who know cocoa. I know some of us are like, cocoa? What is that? Yeah, there is something called cocoa. And it has a what? Now, what do we call it? The fuel it uses looks like spirit of such. If you know what spirit is, it is like a pink liquid that you put in it is in the canister. You put in the cocoa cooker, you twist, then the cocoa gets inside, and then from there you do the relevant, and then you use what? You use your lighter to light your cocoa, and then it starts doing what? It starts burning. And when it burns, you get the flame, and from the flame you have what? You have the heat that we are talking about. So all to draw cocoa. Those who don't know what a cocoa is, you can visit your nearby market and see if a certain place is selling cocoa, it will have those things. Are we together? Yeah, I want us to relate with things that we are using at home so that we understand better. Also from there, you should be in a position to draw gas and match it with. So here I want you to draw a gas cylinder. Here I'll need you to draw a jiko. Here I'll need you to draw a stove. Sources of heat cannot burn on their own. I can't have my charcoal here and then it starts. For the charcoal to work, it must have a jiko with it. So it is going to burn in a jiko. Are we together? And from there, talk to your teachers. Let your teachers try and explain to you why maybe a jiko looks the way it looks, why a gas looks the way it looks. You see, a gas is very closed. It should not leak anyhow. But for the jiko, it is very open. Very open. So you should understand why do they have different structures, why do they look different. Some is like this, the other one is like this. You have to understand. Are we together? Yeah. Then what else? We have firewood. Firewood mostly is used with traditional jiko. Traditional the 3 stones where you put your firewood inside, and from there you light, and then your firewood burns. So firewood uses the traditional jiko. This is just but my sketch. Mine is to sketch, yours is to perfect. Are we together? I know you people can. So for me, the traditional jiko. It is called a traditional jiko. It has 3 stones or And then from here, you tell me traditional jiko uses firewood. Are we together? Yes, it is not a matter of knowing the sources of heat. You should also be in a position to say, now because we have kerosene, what uses kerosene? Now that we have charcoal, where do we take charcoal from home, put it on the carpet? No. Their own respective areas of things that work with. Tuko pamoja? So, listing first, if I ask you to name for me any 6 source of heat, will you be in a position to do so? Are you sure? Yes, so let's try and see. Let us try and see what is the first source of heat that we've talked about. Sun. And we've said sun is a natural source of heat. It does not need preparations. What else have we talked about? Electricity. Yes, we've said also electricity is a source of heat. From Stop looking at me. I want you to name it to whomever you are watching with. Yes, so we have sun, electricity, kerosene, stove. I expect someone to tell me I'm wrong. Yeah, stove uses kerosene. Are we together? Yes, we have charcoal, we have firewood, we have gas. So those are our sources of heat. Now, before we finish our lesson, I like relating what we are doing with what is at home. If you are at home, and I like addressing firstborns first, and you are in charge of your siblings, and then you are supposed to warm their food, and yours too, and you run out of gas, what should you do? What should you do? If you are at home, you have a gas cooker which uses gas and electricity. Are you supposed to connect it and continue cooking, or are you supposed to inform someone who is around you to guide you on how to use them? So with the way things work, you will find out that whatever you are using is over. But it do set, it appears in kerosene is gone, gas is over. What alternatives should you take? Because you should always have an alternative with you. So make sure you know how to operate on these things that are used to produce heat, and make sure you learn that with the help of your parent. Are you together? I know why. It's high time we start changing our character into a responsible young man or young girl, so that tomorrow you can do this or that, even when someone is not there, because you already know and because they trust you enough that you are responsible. Okay? Yes. And we've said that you should be the ambassador of the project that the president has talked about, planting trees. Online at what biogas is with the help of your parent. Having done that, make sure you importance of farming or using the trees. Are we together? Yeah, so in our next lesson, we will be looking at the uses of this heat. Now that we've seen that heat is a form of energy and it makes things, to name the sources of heat, or to name the importance or the uses of heat, because is every heat used for cooking? Do you use every heat to cook? No. Like I asked, will you use sun to make chapatis? Will you use sun? I know some of you will cook chapati with pasi. Sindio? Because you want it to be flat, you connect and then you make some. So not every heat is used in cooking. We have different uses of heat, and that is what we will be looking at when we come to the next lesson. Meanwhile, don't forget my assignment of researching, writing the presenting it to your class. And I've also told you to make sure you know how to tell you to know how to operate. Please make sure you don't burn anything. Are we together? Yes, don't burn anything. Meanwhile, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Until next time, we are going to call this a wrap. I am Teacher Njeri, Mom's Love Academy, Kahawa West. Thank you.